You know, some stories don't start with once upon a time. Some of them start with, I'm sorry. Today we're diving into a book that's less about a plot and more about a feeling, a very specific feeling. The feeling of losing your one and only superhero and then being left with one last, very strange mission. Let's explore the world she left behind.
And really, it all boils down to this one question. This is what's beating at the absolute core of Fredrik Backman's novel. And it's not just some idea that moves the plot forward, nope. It's a direct challenge to you, the reader. It asks us to really look at the messy, totally imperfect ways we love people, and wonder if a simple sorry can ever truly be enough. So, Section 1, A Superhero's Final Quest. At the center of everything, we meet 7-year-old Elsa, and Elsa is different. Her grandmother isn't just her grandma, she's her only friend, her protector, her personal superhero. But then, she's gone, and what she leaves behind isn't a cape, it's a quest. And that's the setup. It's the secret treasure hunt made of apology letters. Elsa has to deliver them to all the quirky, kind of weird residents of her apartment building. And that's the genius of it, right? It's this fantastical, almost fairy tale-like mission, set in the most normal, everyday place you can possibly imagine, a regular old apartment block. Okay, Section 2, the map of reality. Now this is where the book gets really clever. The whole story is basically running on two parallel tracks, and understanding how those two tracks connect, well, that's the key to the entire experience. So let's take a look at how these two worlds are built. So, on one side you have reality. The sterile hallways of the apartment building, the raw, heavy grief of a little kid, the isolation and fear that comes with it. But then, on the other side, you have fantasy. It's a fairy tale kingdom that Elsa and her grandmother made up together, called the Land of Almost Awake. But here's the crucial part. This fantasy world isn't an escape from reality. Not at all. It's a map for reality. It's like a dictionary that translates all these big, scary adult emotions into something a 7-year-old can actually fight and finally understand.
And this two sides of the same coin idea, it's right there in the characters too. In fact, the whole emotional core of the book is this tension, this tug of war between two forces in Elsa's life. Her grandmother represents this wonderful, loving chaos. She's the imperfect, unconventional superhero. Her mom, on the other hand, represents order. She's all about structure and rules because she's desperately trying to protect Elsa. And the story just masterfully shows how both of these are really just different ways of saying, I love you.
And these two worlds, reality and fantasy, are perfectly woven together. I mean, this isn't just a metaphor, it's the actual technical foundation of the book. It's what you might call thematic coherence. And if you remember one thing about how this book is built, this is it. Every single peculiar neighbor in the building has a direct, one-to-one counterpart in the fairy tale kingdom. The quiet, reclusive neighbor, he's also the brave wolfheart. The grumpy woman down the hall, she's also the feared witch. And this is what makes the fantasy feel so grounded, so incredibly real and meaningful.
All right, Section 3, the quality of grief. Look, a powerful theme is great, but it means nothing without powerful execution, right? So how does the book actually hold up technically? Let's dig into the quality of the writing and the structure.
The pacing in this book is a fascinating and I think very brave artistic choice. The first half is completely captivating. It just pulls you right in with the mystery and the magic. But then the second half deliberately slows way down. It gets repetitive, almost cyclical. And while I know that might test some readers, it is not a flaw. It's 100% an intentional technique to make you feel what grief actually feels like, that looping, stuck, monotonous ache of loss. And that brings us to the book's objective quality. First off, the prose is fantastic. It's sharp and precise, but also so full of warmth, because everything is filtered through Elsa's unique point of view. The characters, oh man, their motivations are messy, complicated, and you believe every single one of them. But honestly, as we've seen, that thematic coherence, the way fantasy and reality are stitched into one seamless fabric, that is its undeniable, absolute triumph.
Okay, so beyond the technical stuff, there's the emotional journey. Section 4, an exhausting, curative read. What does it actually feel like to read this book? This is where we step away from the objective analysis and talk about the subjective experience.
This right here, this quote is probably the best way to describe what it's like. This novel doesn't just mention the pain of loss, it plunges you headfirst into it. It creates a very real ache. But then, and this is the magic of it, page by page, letter by letter, it gives you the tools to heal that exact same ache. It gives you imagination, empathy, connection. It teaches you how to handle the very pain it creates.
So let's be really clear. This is not a light, breezy read. It demands a lot from you emotionally. It is exhausting, but it's also incredibly rewarding. And honestly, there's something addictive about watching Elsa piece together this giant puzzle of her grandmother's life, and in the process, piece herself back together too. It's what I'd call a curative exhaustion, the kind you feel after a long journey that actually changed you.
So, let's bring all this together. Section 5. Is this journey for you? We've got the incredible technical quality, the heavy emotional weight, the unique structure, which leads us to the final, most important question. Should you go on this adventure?
Here's the final verdict. I think you have to separate two things here: subjective taste and objective quality. The book's taste can be challenging. That slow, deliberate pace in the second half that mimics grief, yeah, that might not be for everyone. But its quality, the craftsmanship, it's simply undeniable. The way the two stories are built, the depth of the characters, the coherence, it's masterful stuff.
So who is this for? Well, this book is absolutely essential for young adult readers who are trying to make sense of a really complicated world. It is a must-read for fans of that unique Scandinavian mix of melancholy and warmth. And of course, if you're looking for a story that uses the power of fantasy to talk about the very real process of grieving, or if you just love stories about beautifully imperfect families, then this journey is for you.
And I'll leave you with this final thought. In a world that so often demands that we just face reality, this book makes a powerful case for the exact opposite. It suggests that imagination isn't an escape from truth, but maybe just another path to get there. And that sometimes the only way to really understand the monsters in our lives is to first meet them in a story.